This episode of Nuff Said is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. To get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
Recording has started. Cue the laser blast. Hey, cats and kittens, and welcome once again to Superconnectivity. I'm your host, Charlie, the Professor Esser. And with me, as always, is the blue-eyed bomber of the Burger Pits.
Phil, me, and Perich.
Hey, Philippe. So glad you could join us once again. Oh, shall we talk about the elephant in the room? The vision of Wanda. The WandaVision, the final episode. Or is it? It is. Although, here's what I'm going to say, man. When you do a making of WandaVision documentary as the next episode, in a show, within a show, within a show, it's like, is something weird going to happen? Let's get some more speculation going. That's the real 10th episode. That was the 10th episode, man. I'm telling you. There's going to be a big reveal in there. We're like, oh, what? No. Now it's all turned around. It's not a documentary anymore.
Or you're filling that 1 week gap between WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that was the other one. That's the possibility. Oh, man. So here's the thing. So we got very excited about WandaVision. We were so starved. And this was, it was the best thing to give starved Marvel fans and the worst thing to give starved Marvel fans. Because, as I said in the last show, not the last of this show, but in Capes and Lunatics, go over and listen to that too. If you just watch a Marvel show or a Marvel movie, you're not watching a Marvel show or a Marvel movie. Marvel shows, which is why Marvel is having this great time, because it is like the world is social media, and Marvel is the water cooler show. The idea of the water cooler show is, let's have a show that everyone will talk about in the water cooler next day at the office or the plant or whatever. And now we're in a global water cooler. We live within the water cooler. And Marvel just gives these things that says, maybe this is a thing to talk about. I don't know. And then everyone's like, it's all connected. And that happened in this thing. And this is and a lot of conversations happen. And that is the thrust. That is the thrust that is taking Marvel further and further, because there's just this need in the social media community, especially during the lockdown, where all we have is our social media community anymore, where people are just, this is what we have to talk about. This is the thing. This is our shared cultural experience. And it's interesting, there was this idea not too long ago that, at some point we will no longer have shared cultural experiences because, we no longer have the three networks. But at the same time, I actually get the thinking, we actually are going to have shared cultural experiences. It's just that they're going to be better because it's going to be the cultural experiences we all choose.
I mean, if you put out good content, people are going to find it.
Exactly.
Word of mouth, especially with social media.
And if you build a community, which is what Marvel has always done. That is what, going all the way back to good old Sam the Man Lee. I know everyone hates him now, but he's dead, so it's okay to hate him, I guess, is the popular theory. Although, to be fair, people hated him while he was alive, too.
That's true.
But, the idea was always to build a community, to build this idea of let's have the creators talk to the people. Let's have the people talk to the creators. Let's build this idea of a story and a community where we're all interacting. Back when you had to do it in the mail. Back when the internet was in the mail, Phil. People don't know that the internet used to be in the mail. And now it's not, but still, it's the same idea that we're all just trying to gather in our own corner of the internet, our own comic shop, if you will, to have these conversations in this world. And WandaVision is perfect for that because it was so self-referential. We even see like Jimmy Woo with his. Once Jimmy Woo pulls out the whiteboard, it's why is everything a hex? Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da. And then they left the biggest question unanswered in the whole series. Do you know what the biggest question that was left unanswered in this series?
Oh, who was the witness?
Who was the witness? Which raises...
Again, do you think that's a thing, or is that just an excuse to get... or for why Jimmy was here?
Well, it's an excuse. So it's twofold. One is, it's an excuse for why Jimmy was here, but now it's a thing. Mm-hmm. And that is the thing. So what the next writer does with the idea of Jimmy's witness is going to be a thing. It was a canard to get him there, or a MacGuffin to get him there. And deciding, is it a canard or a MacGuffin, is one of the biggest questions that the next writer is going to have to answer.
Well, yeah, because I mean, look at what we've got, in this series, in Age of Ultron. It's like, oh yeah, Wanda and her brother survived, getting a Stark bomb dropped on them, and then they did something with it in this series.
Well, exactly, and to be fair, I think when the writers of Age of Ultron wrote it, they didn't know. It just was a bomb that didn't go off, and this writer said, well, why didn't it go off? Yeah. And it's a Stark bomb. Stark bombs go off. That's their thing. He's Tony Stark. His bombs work, And the idea is that little thing about Jimmy's witness, that can be built into so much.
Yeah.
And that is what is great about these Marvel properties, is because everything is important, because anything can be brought back and talked about. So,
See, that's what I was trying to tell you. Like, I didn't think they were going to introduce any element of Fantastic Four here, but if someone wants to pick up that aerospace engineer when they do a Fantastic Four or something, maybe in whatever movie or series they get, maybe Reed or Ben or someone worked with Monica's mother or something.
Yeah, and to be fair, I mean, a big part of that is like, yeah, we are drunken crack addicts, as I say, they have rehab for crack, they don't have rehab for comics.
Oh, yeah.
And that is just the reality of it, is like, you give us that little sweet idea, we're going to start building something. That's our...
Yeah, because, think about it. Since 2008, they've been giving us something at least once a year, either a movie or something, or a show, mm-hmm. And then 2020, we got nothing, and everyone went crazy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is like, I don't think Falcon Winter's... I worry about poor Falcon Winter Soldier, because clearly WandaVision was written to be a winking acknowledgement of how big the fan community is with Marvel. And I get the feeling like, that wound up coming first, which wasn't the original plan, kind of almost like puts Falcon Winter Soldier in the spot, like, we don't have a lot of big mysteries. We were just going to be a fun shoot-'em-up kind of adventure story.
Yeah, but I think there's going to be enough fan service in there, because it's like we're getting Zemo with his mask finally. It's going to be like, oh, we're going to get Thunderbolts, or we're gonna get
yeah. I'm telling you, man, I'm watching for Soften, man. Soften is the key. If we can find, and we see him with a psychiatrist, so
but
is that Dr. Soften? Do we get her name? Is that a pseudonym?
We'll get to that later in the episode, but like this last issue of Thunderbolts, are we going to get a classic Thunderbolts in the MCU, or is it going to be, we're getting Taskmaster and Black Widow, are we going to be getting something more like that?
Well, so let's...
the guy who played Batroc in Winter Soldier was saying, oh yeah, I'd love to act again. Maybe we're getting a Batroc.
So let's talk about Thunderbolts, New York City's new premier superhero team.
The mayor's new superhero team, yes.
Well, he is the mayor of New York City, And, I liked this. I like that they're doing something with Star, who is... She's like powered by the Reality Stone, right? Like, that's her gig?
Yeah.
She is like the living embodiment of the Reality Stone, so whatever she wants her powers to be, she has.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. She was like either a college student or maybe like a reporter, something. She showed up in Captain Marvel's book, and she got powered by the Infinity Stone, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I just realized something. In that last picture, do you see who's a member of the Thunderbolts? In the lower left-hand corner? Well, not quite left-hand corner.
Are you talking about the corpse?
Yeah! Sentry Corpse. He's part of the team, my friend. Oh my gosh, I did love this book. By the way, I love that we actually get the noble turn by Taskmaster at the end. I also like the fact that that face we've been seeing the whole time, that was actually just a mask that he was also wearing. That's no mask, but actually that's your classic Mission Impossible mask. So
that's what I was going to say. Are we going to say he's scarred, or are we just going to go with, yeah, we've never seen Taskmaster's real face. You're never going to see Taskmaster's real face.
We've seen Taskmaster's real face in his own book. So yeah, when we got the Secret Origin of Taskmaster, we did see his face, and it's not dramatically different from the face we saw. It's white guy face number 4.
I was going to say maybe making him look a little more photo ready. Give him some of those Ryan Reynolds cheekbones, maybe.
Yeah, but no, I don't think there's any he has a secret deformity kind of thing. No, I think it's just he didn't want his real face shown to people, and because he was the leader of the group. Also, I love the idea of a team of essentially super criminals on the payroll that will go do adventuring for Wilson Fisk. That is ostensibly heroes. It's sort of like when they did the Dark Avengers. It's like a reboot of the Dark Avengers, where it's like, you know what? Technically, Norman Osborn needs us to actually do superheroic things from time to time because we are still officially the Avengers. Well,
I mean, that's always been the kind of the concept. Because remember that original team that came out of Heroes Reborn. It's like, yeah, we're villains posing as heroes, and we're going to try to take over the world eventually. But they did good in the meantime. They took down the Wrecking Crew, the Masters of Evil. I mean, they did superheroic stuff, in the meantime.
Well, exactly. And that, I think, is the point, is that, they need to do these superheroic things, but they are essentially cops, which is, they do a lot of good, but, they are not always the best people.
They're dirty cops. They're a team of dirty cops.
Yeah, there's certain cops, and these are all, and arguably this is a squad of dirty cops who are going to do good because their job is to do good. But they're also very dirty. It's the Shield.
I mean, look, you got a dirty mayor, so it's like, hey.
Exactly. You got a dirty mayor, it's Gotham, baby! All we need now is Commissioner Gordon and Nighthawk, which is maybe what Heroes Reborn is all about. Man, I am so excited for Heroes Reborn. I have not since Amalgam.
And speaking of Thunderbolts, I thought I saw somewhere, I don't know if it's going to be a book, but Zemo's going to have a team in Heroes Reborn. I can't remember who's all on it, but
yeah, I mean, Zemo is such an interesting character that they've tried to, since they made him the son of the Nazi instead of the Nazi, he gets to have a lot more breadth. He gets to be much more Dr. Doomy, but also less incompetent.
Yeah, sliding time has really worked for him.
Really, it's worked. Now I think he's even the grandson of the original Zemo. Who knows? But, the idea that, Baron Zemo, he is just a dude now who he's definitely thinks he's better than everybody else, but he actually has a little bit more gravitas to back it up. And also, he is better in the sense that he is not so obsessed with his ego that he can't acknowledge someone else could have a good idea. That's always the problem with Doom. Doom's problem isn't that he's super isn't that he is not a really top drawer guy. It's that he cannot conceive of the idea that there was an idea that someone else had before him. And that is Doom's problem. That is Doom's big thing. And as good Doom told him, what I really had to realize was, what? If I'm smart enough, maybe I should understand that other people can be smart too, and maybe sometimes a different perspective will be the sandwich left on the petri dish that discovers penicillin.
Yeah.
It took an idiot to leave his sandwich on the petri dish and come back next week and say, "Oh man, my sandwich is all moldy. Hey, wow, man, why is there no bacteria in this petri dish? Huh? Wait a minute, let me put 2 and 2 together,
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like, that's why Doom, that freaking dropout, makes people call him doctor, even though he's not a doctor. You know.
Oh, but it looks like, in Heroes Reborn, yes, Zemo's going to have the Siege Society, which is looks on the cover of #1. I see him, Sabretooth, Black Widow, the Silver Witch, I think they're calling her. I don't know if it's like an amalgam of Wanda and Quicksilver, and then it looks like there's a Hawkeye on the cover.
No, well, that's interesting. I'm waiting to see what it is, and this has to be Mephisto's master plan. That's the thing. It has to be, because clearly Mephisto is why there is a Squadron Supreme. Now, these Squadron Supremes, these are actually LMDs, correct? Did they say that they were officially LMDs? I thought that Coulson said they were LMDs.
Maybe, or weren't they LMDs? But they had the brains of like the original Squadron Supreme or Sinister in them or something.
I don't know.
Like downloading their brains or something.
Well, I mean, I think all MDs have like some kind of brain download thing going.
Yeah, but it's like their original brains.
Although they also have all the same weaknesses and strengths, so it's weird. It's like they are the Squadron Supreme, but they're not the Squadron. Honestly, I think there's some Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Darkhold stuff going on here, which brings us back to WandaVision, where, okay, that was the Darkhold, which I'm fine with it being the Darkhold. The Darkhold does change how it looks. Clearly, it had the word Darkhold written on it in a weird script to say, see, English speakers, it's this a TV audience that says Darkhold on it. You see how you can understand that? But when obviously Agnes has it, it's like, I don't know, I'm just a weird bunch of symbols that look a lot like the Man-Thing. Fight me, nerds. It's the Man-Thing is tied to the Darkhold. We never got an explanation of the Nexus commercial. There's no explanation in story.
I mean, this is eventually leading to Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. So, I mean,
yeah, exactly, and that's the point. Is that we'll get to it. We'll figure it out later. We'll fix it in post.
Not until 2022, but we'll get there.
We'll get there. Well, we got time.
Yeah, we
got time and stories to tell, which makes me worry if Disney Plus is going to be the Netflix and Marvel Television of the Marvel Universe, that they're not ever going to be ever on the equal footing as the movies. But then again, maybe they will. Maybe they're actually going to be like, no, actually, movies don't exist anymore. And
again, this was like their first time out, and between that and the pandemic, it's like, let's see what we do. And I think they see what kind of reception they got, because again, for the second time, they said the WandaVision finale almost crashed Disney Plus again. So they're like, okay.
Oh yeah, it's rough, man. Especially when you got guys like me that say, I'm awake, let's turn it on.
Oh yeah,
I wasn't there at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m, but at 5 I was there.
Yeah, because they do it so like midnight on the West Coast. Because if you listen to Kevin Smith on his podcast, he's like, oh yeah, every Thursday at midnight, he's like, I'm on there. I'm the.
Well, of course he is. I don't know how he stays up that late.
Smoke the doobie.
Well, no, that doesn't help you stay up. That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. It's like, that man is like, no, I can't. Tonight I can't. Tonight I have to be primed. I have to be ready. Give me some taurine and a couple of Monster Zeros, because he takes care of himself now. Just like I will someday do.
But I mean,
I'm rich.
They're loading these Disney Plus series up, because Falcon and Winter Soldier's coming, then Loki's in June.
Yeah.
What if they're saying mid 2021, but they haven't given like a specific date yet?
You know what? Here's my big thing, and I know they're never going to do it. Or they might do it someday, but they might have already like missed the window on it. I really want the what if for the MCU of what if Steve Rogers had went to Palo Gordo, which was where the scientists were studying the super soldier serum, because that's what he was supposed to do. Mm-hmm. He was supposed to, because, and this was the thing, is the general or colonel played by Tommy Lee Jones says, I forget what his name was, but he says, I don't need you. I was supposed to get an army of super soldiers. You're just one.
Yeah.
It was, well, one super soldier's good too. It's like, no, I mean, yeah, one super soldier's great, but strategically, what we need is more.
I think that, they've done that a few times in the comics, and that's the big one that they should do. It's like, what if, like Erskine had liver stumps, something.
Well, no, but the idea is that if Cap goes to Palo Gordo,
but we get the serum,
then he becomes a part of that serum experiment, which means we can suddenly have Cap using his perfect human intelligence to sort of say, oh, okay, it seems to run on some sort of electricity. Here's how it works. And, break it down and actually do this. And then even have a great way to backdoor in Red, White, and Black storyline with Isaiah Bradley. And maybe in this universe, because that's the thing. Isaiah Bradley went to Palo Gordo. And the idea being that if Steve Rogers had gone to Palo Gordo, maybe it's a different story.
Well, we can also give you what you want too, because you could also can't you backdoor Man Thing into that too? Because wasn't Ted Sallis trying to recreate the super soldier serum?
Yeah, but not until the 70s.
Yeah.
So Ted Sallis is great. Oh man, a universe without a Ted Sallis and a Man Thing. Honestly, Ted Sallis, that's an interesting aspect, as we were saying, about the death of Bane. It's like literally you can make another Bane tomorrow, because it's not like the Venom drug is unknown. It's not the super soldier serum. Everyone knows how to make it. It just makes you explode eventually. It's like fear toxin. It's like, yeah, we all know how to make it, but it's not good in the doses we have. Generally speaking, I do not understand the idea of like, oh, what if we mix Joker gas and fear toxin and heroin? That sounds like it'll be a good high. Really? People pay for that?
Bane was created as a plot device to break Batman, and then, just recently Tom King tried to make him like a criminal mastermind, and it's just like,
Well, I guess he's supposed to be super smart or something. He's supposed to be kind of a low-rent prison Batman, But, yeah...
but how smart can he be? He was locked in prison his whole... from the moment he was born, he was locked in prison. He was self... he was self-taught.
It's hard to escape prison as a toddler.
That's what I'm saying. They basically had him locked in solitary most of his life. And, like, he anything he knew is for what he read from books. So it's like, how smart can you be? Yes.
There's a lot of knowledge in books, to be fair.
Yeah, but again, it's like, who taught him the race?
Yeah. Maybe they had a really good library there, I guess. Maybe, if nothing else, you can say that. It's like, oh, wow, that
South American prison had a great library. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Hey, maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's, like, I'd like to escape, but you know what? It's a really great library, and, man, I don't know if I'm ever going to get to I had to find out how the Count of Monte Cristo ends, Oh, he escaped from prison? Oh my gosh! I did not see that coming. But yeah. Oh, hey, let's get back to WandaVision real quick here, because I do want to talk a bit about it. Don't want to go too much because, of course, me and Miles are going to review it. But man, okay. So let's talk about everything. Because as it turns out, Agatha is pretty evil. I was really hoping they weren't going to go. It's like all the things I was hoping all the bad tropes I was hoping they would avoid. They did not. So Agatha evil, Wanda crazy lady story. That's essentially what they did. But by the end of it, you do get setups for interesting ideas.
Oh yeah.
And this is my thing. It's like, you know what? I see, it's like they didn't use any of my ideas, as they never do, and that's okay. They used ideas that a lot of people had said before that other people didn't like, and I'm like, okay, because okay. So here's the thing about let's talk Darkhold first. First and foremost, let's talk Darkhold. No, it does not look like the Darkhold from apparently Runaways and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Then again, the first question you should ask in this storyline is, how did Agatha get the Darkhold? Because you can say, well, it was never really in S.H.I.E.L.D.'s custody because that's not canon. No, you don't. You don't read Marvel comics. You don't understand how Marvel comics work. You don't understand what Marvel means. Go away. You're a fake nerd.
Well, because I mean, if it's a giant mystical artifact, plus we did get that drop of Nexus of all realities. I mean, can this book be in more than one place at a time, though? Too.
Well, of course, it's in more than one place at a time. It is the book itself is its own Nexus. That's the thing. And this gets to the larger story that. And this is something, and of course, everyone will miss it, because everyone always does. When the Mind Stone opens up for Wanda, and she sees herself in it, it is literally the idea that, you know what? The stones are in charge. The Darkhold is in charge. These are objects of such important mystical power that they do what they want. They don't care. The Power Stone, it's gonna fill a city for 1,000 years, and it says, you know what, I'm done. Power Stone's gonna shut off. That whole society collapses in on itself. Happens, you know.
I even took the vision of her seeing herself as the Scarlet Witch. Is it like subtly planting an idea in her head, be like, "Hey, you want to be all powerful? Here's the way to do it."
Or, well, I mean, it could be anything. It could literally be anything. I mean, there's actually an interesting... I mean, one of the things as I'm watching it, I'm waiting for Wanda to do is literally be like, you know, when Agnes says, you know, do this and I'll give you my knowledge, you know. Give me your power, I'll give you your knowledge. Which, again, is actually arguably a positive. She's saying, I want the power, and then I will teach you how to use magic. I will actually educate you, so that even in her worst moment, she's actually trying to say, we can work, we can make a bargain. You let me use you let me use your power, I'll teach you how to use that power properly. And I was waiting for Wanda, after she goes into Agnes's mind, and after Wanda actually, you know, and Agnes tries to take over the vision, and then Wanda sort of flips the script on her. I wanted her to say, my power comes from the Mind Stone. Your mind is my mind. There is no knowledge that you have that I don't have. Now I have all of your knowledge, and now you're in a bad place. And she, of course, does send poor Agnes to the second place by the end of it. At least that is one theory. Because there is the idea that actually Agnes is just playing along. Because it does leave this real weird question, like, everyone in town knows what Wanda did. Are they just going to accept Agnes into their society? Or is she going to have a really bad life?
Well, didn't she let everyone out of the town? So that's my thing. I was like, was she going to lock her there by her? You know, because she said, she's like, you know, you picked your role. I'm going to make you the, you know, the neighbor and stuff. Is she going to lock her in this town? Is she going to lock her in the town as this gossipy neighbor with no one to gossip on? Is that her punishment?
Well, no, because I think everyone still lives there. Everyone has mortgages, Phil. You know, you can't just leave. I don't know if you understand this, Phil, but you can't just leave your entire life just because a witch came and reconstructed your society for a couple of years or a couple of weeks.
Well, when she takes control of your mind and everything, are these people even going to be comfortable living? I mean, I understand the money aspect, but it's like, you know, we could have died. Maybe we should, you know.
Well, but move where, Phil? To New York City, where the rent is higher and the aliens come more.
I mean, 5 miles down the road. Come on.
Well, yeah, they could move to Eastview, but you know, they got the Eastern View. That's much more expensive in New Jersey. You know, Westview is kind of a rundown town for a reason.
I guess the borders are open now because you know, and everyone was there. Yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm sure everyone there is being debriefed, and everyone is being. Although apparently Darcy can just leave.
Is that a bigger story that Darcy can leave?
Well, I mean, it's a story that Darcy is. I have no reason to stay, and you know, you can't keep me here legally. You know, It's like all the people that live in Westview actually have a house.
Charlie
actually have stuff. Yeah,
you know,
actually have kids.
You know, it just hit me, especially after the first end credit scene. What if that was Darcy?
No, that was Darcy. I mean, I see no reason to assume Skrulls when we don't have Skrulls.
I mean, what if we're doing that, you know, at least one supporting cast member from all the franchises were a Skrull in Secret. What if Darcy was a Skrull? What if, somebody in Tony Stark's entourage was a Skrull? What?
Again, I'm not sold on the Skrulls as the bad guy story yet.
I'm not saying they're bad guys, but what if they're just, I don't know.
Well, clearly, so here's what I can say is clearly the Skrulls have infiltrated a lot of things, probably on Fury's orders.
Maybe, yeah.
And there's even this weird argument that suggests that Fury has been, because Fury has known about Skrulls for a long time, that there have always been
Since
Skrulls.
The 90s, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe even the argument that we've never met Nick Fury until Far From Home.
Ooh, that's right.
That Nick Fury has been up in that space station with various Nick Fury substitutes on the ground that entire time.
Well, didn't they do that in Original Sin, kind of? Didn't they say like most of his modern appearances up to that point have been LMDs and stuff?
Exactly, and that's the idea, that maybe, and if you're not going to have LMDs because we've already used them in the Darkhold, maybe they were all Skrulls the whole time.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What if he wants to keep an eye on all these superhumans? So, Darcy was like Thor's, keeping an eye on Thor. There was somebody for Tony Stark. There was somebody for all the Avengers.
Well, except that Darcy was already an established person, and he would have had to know to
no,
have
that's what I'm saying.
There. Yeah. I mean, it's possible, and would certainly go into how Darcy is actually now a super intelligent person. But here's what I'm going to say. I would rather that Darcy actually have been a super genius all along, but just, a comfortable one, just one that was, who was it? Feynman, playing, a bongo playing super genius, that you can be a super genius and not always be a freaking Vulcan. That, you can be a super genius and just have fun.
I mean, we're getting something called Secret Invasion. I mean, unless, Darcy was, maybe that was really her in the first Thor movie, but at some point a Skrull takes her place and she's up on the station with Fury or something.
Well, I mean, it's possible, but like I said, I don't, and obviously, if I say I don't think that's the case, it probably is the case. So you can take that for what it's worth.
And like you said, the Skrulls aren't bad guys, but what if they're scared of Wanda? What if that witness was a Skrull, where there was some kind of Skrull in that town where, she...
I mean, that's a possibility. Or, as I said, what if Wanda was actually the witness? That was the witness he didn't want to mention. And that would be a real good reason why he doesn't mention Wanda's the witness, and why he immediately goes in to say, because here's the thing, this is, and again, this is why it's a great ending episode, because we're still talking about it. It didn't give us anything that we were waiting for, but here's still something else. So immediately, every crumb we get, we hold and we cherish. It is precious to us. So when we get when we get the FBI rating, there is a moment where he says, "Well, my FBI colleagues will be here in an hour." Then he has to escape and then call the guy and say, "Hey, can you all get here in an hour?" And then they do, which actually suggests that they were working a sting on Hayward the whole time. That the FBI had been investigating Hayward because they knew Hayward was dirty. Hayward is part of this sword thing, which is like S.H.I.E.L.D., which we know was full of Hydra. So you're going to tell me that, Sword's not also full of Hydra or AIM or somebody? So the FBI right away is watching these people, and they say, hey, Vision's body is being dealt with by these people, and that's not a good thing. And so they get Wanda Maximoff when she comes back. In fact, I want to see the scene with Jimmy Woo and Wanda Maximoff now, where she says, hey, Wanda Maximoff, Jimmy Woo, FBI, I was wondering if you could help us. We think that Vision's body is being held by Sword, and, I really think he deserves a proper burial, don't you? We get this idea that Jimmy Woo actually is a master manipulator all along, just always playing the Columbo dumb guy role, because that puts people at ease. They always think they're in their position of power, but he's the bumbling detective, but he's always actually one step ahead of everybody.
Or you could just say all the government agencies were on high alert because, there's this impenetrable mystical barrier over an American town. It's like, well,
except clearly no one knew. That was what was weird about it.
Oh, that's true. Because
Hayward didn't even seem to know, that essentially this is what happened after Wanda left. He was hoping Wanda would reanimate his vision, but she doesn't. And then she just leaves. And then everything happens. But it makes me think that basically what happened was, that's why Jimmy knew what had happened, because he knew Wanda was in the Hex. He knew Wanda went to Westview. He knew they had a house in Westview. And here's another interesting thing about Westview that you'll notice, that when they go to the house doesn't have a basement. Which suggests that the basement in Agnes's house was something that she had added on, and that's why it was outside of the Hex. Because she created a pocket dimension, possibly in that whole magical crystal universe where this is outside of magic, or this is outside of the real world, that she could have the powers.
Or it was already there and she just started using it.
Yeah, well, the idea is that, she is using something.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's a lot of fun. A lot of questions, and that's what makes it good. This is why Marvel is Marvel is dunking on DC, because Marvel knows how to give people just enough to make them do all the work. There was a thing I was talking with someone recently about. Actually, it was Zero Mostel. And although Phil Silver's another guy, and Jack Benny's another classic comedian, where as loud as they can be, Jack Benny and Phil Silver's definitely could get loud, but their comedy is very small. And comedy is always a very small thing. It is the way you look left or you look right. It's the way you do this or you do that. And making these very small things is what the Marvel Universe relies on. It is essentially, arguably, a comedic universe, because it turns on these very small things that just stick with you. They make you go, wait, what was that? What did they say? What happened? That puts you in a state of confusion that makes you want to sort of build out from it. That is why, for what you want to say, Marvel movies are all just jokey and comedic. It's like, well, yes, they are, because comedy is how you get you to think. That's how they get you to think about what is happening, because suddenly you are taken out of a narrative, and now you have to put two pieces together. And once your brain starts building, now your brain wants to build more, because your brain is stimulated. As I had previously said in the last show, Capes and Lunatic, scroll down. We like to be stimulated. We like to have something for our minds to do. That, well, we're prisoners here. We want to. What makes prison enjoyable is having your mind stimulated, which is why they had such a great library in Bane's prison, so that he could read all these books and then not really want to escape, because he just wanted to be stimulated. Because they gave him food, and they gave him water, and they gave him books, and that's all you need in life. All right, Philip, do you want to talk some more comics?
Oh, yeah, but before we go, I didn't even get that WandaVision, that second end credit scene. I didn't fully realize that until someone said something. I mean, they called it out that she was stronger than the Sorcerer Supreme, but she's astral projecting without her, Doctor Strange astral projects, his body goes limp, he basically passes out. Wanda's awake and drinking tea or whatever.
Yeah, well, she's the freaking...
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the freaking Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
There's a chapter about her in the Darkhold, Philip, if you didn't know.
Yeah, so yes, they're building her up to be the strongest character in the MCU. Yeah.
Well, I mean, arguably, she's an Omega level. I mean, that's the thing. Although, as I've said, Marvel is lousy with Omega level people. You have Nathan Summers, you have Franklin Richards, you have Billy Kaplan, you have the Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch is just older. You have freaking Owen Reese, the first Omega level person who was like, yeah, I could completely rewrite the universe if I wanted. We have Korvac, who is like, third drawer Omega level, quite frankly. I love Korvac, don't get me wrong, but he steals
power.
Yeah. Korvac has never been able, like Agatha, has never been able to, rid himself of his own pedestrian reality,
Like Doom.
Exactly. He can't think bigger, like Doom. It's like, if you gave Otto Octavius absolute power, he probably would be calm and just like, everyone stop eating cheese on Wednesdays. And that's like perfect. Now the world's perfect. Don't change a thing. Everyone eat food and have water and call it a day and nobody bother me. I want to understand the mysteries of the universe. That's the thing. Also, Aunt May is totally into me now. He's got a thing for Aunt May, man, and that's not cool. It's not cool. But, and of course that's what caused Felicia to reject the ultimate power. She said, nah, you're doing crazy stuff. I don't like that. But, what were we talking about now?
I just want to add that for Wanda,
so Wanda in that second credit scene, the end credit scene is, she is basically studying the Darkhold, the book that arguably drives you mad the second you look at it. So that's good. But that is where, like, to me, that is where the Darkhold wanted to be. And that's really my point on this, is that the stones, the Darkhold, all these items of power are well aware of what they can and can't do. They are all well aware of what they want to do. And then they do it. They say, okay, yeah, I'm just going to go to this person. I'm going to manipulate them to do this thing. That's why freaking Thanos gives Loki the freaking Mind Stone. Because the stones don't care about Thanos. He is a petty, transient little hobo in their universe. It's like, I want to kill people.
I want to kill half the universe. That's it?
Whatever, dude.
That doesn't take much imagination.
Yeah, exactly. No imagination. Unlike, I'm going to give this a shout out right now. Let's talk about Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
43, yep.
So here's my theory. Gaia and Phoenix were the same person the whole time. Gaia is life, Phoenix is rebirth, Gaia is death. That Gaia, Phoenix, death, life. We're all the same lady. We're all just the whole thing. We are the mother maiden crone of the cosmos, and we were all a part of Gaia. So essentially the idea is that Phoenix was a part of Gaia, that life and death and rebirth were always a part of Gaia. That is who Odin kind of
I was gonna say, well, no, good idea, but you're going too deep. Phoenix possessed Gaia, and while Odin thought he was procreating with Gaia, no, Phoenix was in there.
Well, I mean, it's a possibility. I am not going to sit here and say, I'm not going to short sell Gaia. Gaia is like the force of life throughout the universe.
Well, yeah, I mean, I saw so many,
and they've established that. So
I saw so many people online going, Jason Aaron, really? The Phoenix, really? Thor's mother, really?
Yeah, well, and the thing is, they had essentially what it does is it explains why the Phoenix has an affinity for Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Earth is Gaia.
Yeah.
And the humans are Gaia's creation. And so, of course, the Phoenix is essentially, and if you think about the Mother Maiden Crone concept within the pagan identification idea, within mythology, you have the idea of the maiden, the mother, and the crone. It's the idea of life in its three stages. When you are young and vibrant, when you establish a point to create new life, and then when you are wizened and powerful, which is why, of course, death is the most powerful of all, because they are the crone in that argument, all of which are also hot chicks that Thanos is into. I don't know if he's into any of the other. He's into death, but, she's like, okay, I also date Deadpool, so, we have our fun. We have our fun. This is what happens when you personify entities. But, so in my mind, the idea of there being a triple force within the character of Gaia, because she says she was buried she essentially says in this that she was buried within it, that she was hidden and buried, that she buried her. The idea that, Gaia as a force, has the Phoenix within her, and that was what was attractive to Odin. But yeah, also the idea that, obviously some redheaded humanoid chick gained the Phoenix power, because it seems to be that first host was a human from Earth. It kind of, to me, that seems to be where they're going with it. Thor does not like that idea, but the idea that, it's different for gods. Yes, Thor has 3 mothers, and it would be really great if they actually have, at the end of it, just Lady Death show up and say, actually, I'm your mom too. We're all your mom. Thor has 3 mommies.
No.
I think that is the best story ever. And that's what makes him the ultimate Sky Father, because he is the child of the Sky Father, of life and death and living. Because that is really what it is. It is the spark of life, the life of life, and the end of life. And that circle of life is encompassed in that Phoenix, Gaia, death triumvirate. And then the Sky Father being, I'm here too.
I mean, that's,
as dads do.
I mean, that's interesting because you can even write it where Odin's like, yeah, why do you think I was so hard on you for years? Why do you think I was trying to teach you humility? You know how many different backgrounds you have in you?
Yeah, well, you are the child of an elder force in the universe, even more elder than me.
Exactly.
Because Odin is arguably just one of the Sky Father aspects.
Yes.
There is arguably, eternity is the Sky Father aspect writ large, and Odin is one presentation of the idea of eternity, in the same way that Zeus is, in the same way that any of the other entities we've met in the Marvel Universe or other universes are, so that's that. So that was cool. I liked it. Any books that really jumped out at you this week, Phil?
The only other Marvel book I was going to mention, you said you read Captain America King in Black, right?
Yes, I did. I did read Captain America King in Black. Fun book. Well, not fun, actually sad and hard and difficult, and a book that makes you do a lot of work, which is what makes it good. And it's all about Captain America's PTSD, which is such a beautiful concept to talk about. That Captain America, he has had his image misused. He's had, he's been taken over by Null. Null is a voice in the back of his head. And then him working with both Sam and Bucky, who have also both experienced that same kind of manipulation. Mm-hmm. And to work through it together. It is a beautiful tale. And it's stunningly told, especially as Cap is going into it, having essentially his flashbacks.
Oh, yeah.
Cap is dealing with Null flashbacks in this, and that is really great. I mean, they kind of kept it at the end. It's like, well, Bucky's wrong, because now I don't hear Null at all. It's like, well, don't say you don't got the PTSD no more, Cap. I know they want to reset him, but honestly, it was a beautiful tale. Okay. One of the best King in Black books I've read.
Oh yeah.
Do you have, anything you want to add?
No, it's just, it was interesting. Like you were saying, post-traumatic stress. No, he was in the middle of it because Null was like in his head the whole time and just, trying to speak doubts to Captain America, and you're not used to having Captain America having all these doubts. Yeah.
Well, and what I will say is you're not used to being in his head when he has.
True.
That's the thing. It's like, this is where we get the real internal monologue. I think Cap has always had a lot of PTSD. I mean, just the whole Bucky thing really weighed on him his whole life. And then it's like, oh, wow, Bucky's alive and he's a serial killer. Yay.
Well, yeah, because he even gives them, Null says, you put on a good act for everybody, but yeah, you're not as confident as you seem all the time.
Yes. Fun books I also read, Wiccan and Hulkling King in Black. Wiccan and Hulkling go on their honeymoon, provided to them as a special gift by the Shar Empire to build relations. Then, of course, King in Black, Null attacks. Null tries to get Hulkling because he's the Emperor of the universe and they can only one king. But, of course, Wiccan and Hulkling beat him. A lot of fun. And Champagne Robot. Because after... what's his name? Sunspot created that, he actually licensed out the thing to everyone else. Star Wars High Republic, it's good. There's a Sarlacc of the Dark Force that is eating things, and that's a bad thing. So, it is fun to read, but we're running out of time. And Magnificent Ms. Marvel, number 75. I don't know if this is the last issue, but they kind of say she'll be back in Champions. So I guess this was the last issue. A lot of fun. She fights her little symbiote nanotech armor and essentially makes it mad and kills it, and it's fun.
I don't know if not before, I bet you they reboot it by the end of the year, because they didn't give a specific date, but they're saying like toward late 2021. They're calling for both the Hawkeye and Miss Marvel Disney Plus series. So
yeah, I'm sure we'll get more of her, but for right now she's here, but she's still got ongoings in other books. So we'll see how that goes. All right, Philip. Anything left you want to talk about before they called it an end of the day?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, great. So, hey, Philip, if you had a hard time hearing me at any time this day, or if anyone listening to the show had a hard time hearing me, it's probably because you don't have good quality Tweaked Audio headsets. Tweaked Audio, go to tweakedaudio.com, use the coupon code Southgate, save money on your exit, and get high-quality headphones, and that's a good thing. Likewise, quite frankly, use that same coupon code Southgate at checkout at huntingkiller.com. Get a escape room delivered to your house. Just a bunch of clues and things. Like, if you're a Marvel fan, you like clues, you're hunting for these things, you want to build these things, figure it out, connect the dots. That's what it's there for. And if none of that interests you, go to our show notes, go to Amazon.com, buy anything you want, and while you're there, check out Pod Life, the book written by Southgate Media Group crew for you, our friends in the Southgate community. And if anyone does that, or if they don't do it and just want to talk to you about something else, how can they find you, Philip?
You can always get a hold of any of us at capesandlunatics@gmail.com or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And literally, I'd link to everything we do, social media and everything, is at linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics.
And, of course, you can always write to me in that old-fashioned email way. There are miles impossible instead at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. Of course, follow me on the Twitter as I live tweet DuckTales a woohoo, as well as Batwoman and all the other stuff. At Charlie Hesser, that's CharlieEssser. So the two E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing!
Thank you, Maz. And Wuzzles forever. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for connecting with us this week. This has been a wonderful time. I sure hope you come back again next week and super connect with us again. Good night.
Good night. I can't wait to hear what Moz has to think about the end of WandaVision, man. His mind's going to be blown.
Minds will be blown.
So stay tuned for Enough Said and full stream ahead.
Both are good.
This is my favorite podcast. Why? Who's on that? Me.
Hi, I'm one of the High Priests of Khonshu Ray, and I have the sacred privilege of providing you, the loony listener, with a podcast honouring Marvel's very own Moon Knight. So join me and a host of others at Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, or support the show by becoming a Patreon member. Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast. It's time to get your Khonshu on.